Noura and the Bird. A story about using our gifts, finding our flock, and becoming voices for the voiceless. In a garden where jasmine climbed the walls and pomegranate trees offered shade, Noura sat on a stone bench, her notebook open. She was preparing her next chant, a melody woven with lessons about facing fear and finding courage. Noura's voice was known throughout the community. She had once been a medical practitioner, healing bodies with knowledge and hands. But she discovered another kind of healing, through stories and melodies that remind people of their own strength. Now she used both gifts to teach people how to face life's challenges. As she hummed a new melody, testing the rhythm against her words, a nightingale landed on the branch above her. The bird tilted its head, listening. Then, to Noura's surprise, the bird began to sing, not a simple chirp, but a complex, haunting melody that seemed to mirror her own. Noura stopped humming and looked up. "You have a beautiful voice," she said softly. The bird sang again, then spoke, its voice like music even in words. "As do you. I've heard you in this garden many times. Your songs carry something more than beauty. They carry truth." Noura smiled. "Thank you. I try to share what I've learned, about life, about facing hardship, about the wonders of the world around us." "Then we are alike," the bird said, hopping to a lower branch. "I too sing not just for pleasure, but to teach. I warn my flock of danger. I call them to food. I sing the boundaries of our territory so the young ones learn where they are safe." "A teacher," Noura said. "Like me." "Yes," the bird replied. "But tell me, why do you do this? You say you were once a healer of bodies. Why turn to songs and stories?" Noura closed her notebook and looked up at the bird with thoughtful eyes. "Because I realized that a gift unused is a gift wasted. I was given a voice, not just the ability to speak, but the ability to reach people's hearts. I was given knowledge, not just of medicine, but of how humans struggle and survive. If I kept these gifts to myself, what good would they do?" The bird fluttered down to the bench beside her. "Go on," it said. "Every skill we possess is not truly ours alone. It's a tool meant for service. My voice can calm a worried mother. My knowledge can help someone understand their struggles. My stories can give hope. If I stayed silent, I would be burying treasure in the ground." The bird sang a bright note of agreement. "Yes, this is what I tell the young birds. Your wings are not just for you, they are for escaping danger, finding food, teaching your fledglings. Every gift is a responsibility." Then the bird spoke again. "But it's lonely sometimes, isn't it? Not everyone wants to listen." Noura nodded. "It can be. For a long time, I worked alone. I would sing in the market, and some would stop to listen, but many would hurry past. What changed? I found my flock," Noura said simply. "I met others who shared my vision, musicians who wanted their art to mean something, teachers who used stories to heal, healers who understood that medicine is more than prescriptions. When we came together, everything changed." The bird hopped excitedly. "Yes, yes. This is the wisdom of the flock. Alone, one bird can do little. But together, we can navigate storms, find food across vast distances, protect each other from predators. Birds of the same feathers flock together, not out of exclusion, but out of shared purpose." "Exactly," Noura said, leaning forward. "When you align yourself with like-minded individuals, you don't just add your strengths together, you multiply them. One voice can be ignored. 10 voices become a chorus. 100 voices become a movement. The bird sang a cascading melody, as if celebrating the truth of her words. And we must seek out these companions intentionally. We cannot wait for the right flock to find us. We must look for them, call to them, recognize the ones who share our song. Yes, Noura agreed. When I wanted to create real change, I actively sought out people who cared about the same things. I shared my work and asked others to share theirs. I learned to recognize the people who didn't just want entertainment, but transformation. The bird tilted its head. But how do you know who is truly part of your flock? Noura was quiet, remembering. There was a time when I became ill. I couldn't sing for weeks. My voice, which I'd relied on, abandoned me. What happened? The bird asked gently. My friends, my flock, they came, Noura said, her voice thick with emotion. The musicians played while I rested. The storytellers told my stories. The healers brought remedies and sat with me. They didn't wait for me to ask. The bird was still, listening. That's when I learned that a friend in need is a friend indeed. Anyone can stand beside you in celebration. But the ones who extend their hand when you're struggling, those are your true flock. The bird sang softly. I know this truth. When I was young, I was caught in a net. My flock could have abandoned me, it would have been safer. But they came. They pecked at the net, distracted the human, didn't leave until I was free. Challenge reveals character, Noura said. Noura picked up her notebook again, running her fingers over the pages. This is why I do what I do, she said. My voice, it's not just mine. It's an instrument for those who have no voice. The sick who cannot advocate for themselves. The frightened who cannot articulate their fear. The lost who cannot ask for direction. The bird flew to her shoulder, a gesture of trust and kinship. And my song, it said, is not just for my own joy. It's a warning for those who cannot see danger. It's a call to those who are separated from safety. It's a guide for those who have lost their way. We are both instruments, Noura said, smiling. You for your flock, me for my community. Our beauty serves a purpose beyond itself. But how do we stay true to that purpose? The bird asked. How do we ensure that what we create is pure, that our solutions are clean and not tainted by ego or misdirection? Noura looked out at the garden, at the way light filtered through the leaves. Through meditation, she said. Through self-reflection. Through self-correction. The bird cocked its head, curious. Every evening, Noura explained, I sit in silence and ask myself, did my words help or harm? Did my songs bring clarity or confusion? Was I serving others or my own need for recognition? When I find mistakes, and I always find some, I correct them. I adjust. I grow. This is hard, the bird observed. It is the hardest work, Noura agreed. But if we don't reflect, we risk spreading solutions that aren't really solutions at all, just echoes of our own blind spots. The bird was quiet, absorbing this. In my flock, at dusk, we gather and sing together. Not to perform, but to listen. Each bird sings, and the others hear. If a song is discordant, we adjust together. No bird is above this practice. That's beautiful, Noura said. Spaces where correction isn't punishment but refinement. Yes, the bird agreed. A meditative mind adapts like water, flowing toward the path of greatest service. Self-reflection is about accuracy, and self-correction is about devotion to truth. They sat together as the afternoon sun shifted. Other birds began to arrive, drawn by the nightingale's song. People walking past paused, drawn by Noura's voice as she began to hum a new melody. "Look," the bird said softly. "Your flock is gathering." Noura looked up and saw familiar faces at the garden gate, the musician with her instrument, the storyteller with his weathered book, the healer with her bag of herbs. They had heard her humming and had come, as they always did, to create together. "And yours," Noura replied, watching as more birds landed in the branches above, joining the nightingale's song. The two flocks, one of feathers, one of purpose, created a symphony that afternoon. The birds sang of safety and sustenance and the wisdom of the wind. Noura and her companions sang of resilience and healing and the challenges of being human. And in the garden where jasmine climbed and pomegranate trees offered shade, the voiceless found their voice. The lost found their direction. The weary found their rest. Because gifts, when shared, become bridges. And bridges, when crossed together, lead us all toward home.